Edition of the Spider's Web live from the Bucks room. I'm Spider. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Spider's Web on YouTube and Facebook. And on tonight's show, I'm going to discuss the Tim Tebow situation, give you my thoughts about the whole situation, and tell you where I think Tebow may end up. Now, from the start here, I just want to say this. Tim Tebow got screwed over by the Jets. From the start of this whole ridiculous situation, which, by the way, the Jets never intended to play this guy. The only reason why they traded for Tebow in the first place was to take the spotlight off the New York Giants, okay? Let's face it. Theoretically, the plan makes sense. You gave up so many draft picks to get a quarterback that led the Denver Broncos from a 1-4 record to a playoff team and an eventual playoff win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. It makes lots of sense. It also makes sense to put him in the Wildcat offense because he is a 46% completion percentage passer. He's not going to win you a lot of games on his arm strength alone. Okay? He can't read a defense. We talked about this. He doesn't have the things that you look for in a franchise quarterback. But saying all that, it made sense to trade for Tebow in the way that the Jets said they were going to use him by basically using him in that Wildcat offense 15 to 20 times a game. Because what it does is, it takes the pressure off one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, Mark Sanchez. You didn't have a running game, so you get Tebow, and now you have a running game, and now you alleviate the throws that Mark Sanchez has to make. Because look, guys, if Mark Sanchez has to pass more than 40 times a game, he's liable to throw at least 3 interceptions. Okay? So, overall, it makes sense. But it wasn't properly executed because the Jets never intended to do anything with Tebow. In fact, he saw the field less than 10 times last season. You mean to tell me that a terrible team that had problems at the quarterback position with Mark Sanchez and Greg McElroy couldn't even showcase the guy at least 1 or 2 games? You asked him to put on weight to be a personal pump protector. He did it, and you couldn't even give him a look? That's absolutely ridiculous. And that's my new name for the New York Jets organization. It's the New York Regrets. Because your fans this year are going to regret watching this team. Your fans should regret the fact that the organization brought back Rex Ryan, who signed off on this travesty. It was absolutely ridiculous from the start. But besides that, you could have released him in January. The New York Jets could have released Tim Tebow in January, and he would have probably had a chance to go to an NFL team. Who knows? He may have had an opportunity to latch on with a team at the starting position. More than likely, not so much, because you know why? He didn't have any trade value. You didn't showcase the guy, so nobody really said, well, we need to go out and get Tim Tebow. So that in itself is where he got screwed. You mean to tell me that even the backup quarterbacks in the NFL are better than Tim Tebow? A guy that's shown on many occasions that he can win on athleticism alone, that he can win on heart alone? You mean to tell me that there are much better quarterbacks, even second-string quarterbacks, that this guy couldn't get a job in the NFL? That's ridiculous. I absolutely can't believe that that's the case. And if it is the case, give me a quarterback that's on an NFL team right now as a backup that's won a playoff game. In fact, Tim Tebow has won as many playoff games as Tony Romo has won, and Tony Romo just received a contract extension. So you mean to tell me that this whole process, out of this whole process here, Tim Tebow won't get a job with the NFL team? Tim Tebow is not good enough to play in the NFL. I beg to differ. And that's why I think the Jets overall screwed him up. This whole situation was ridiculous from the start. All I can say is that we talked about Tebow's limitations. We talked about how he can't throw, how he doesn't have the footwork, everything like that. But here's the thing that I like about Tim Tebow. Doesn't pout, doesn't hold out, doesn't get in trouble off the field. the thing is this, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Tebow probably isn't going to get a job in the NFL because of the publicity that he receives. If he goes to an NFL team and he is your backup quarterback and your starting quarterback, say, I don't know, a Blaine Gabbert in Jacksonville who has a 5-17 record, messes up, then the fans are going to be calling for Tim Tebow, and that's why he probably will not end up with the NFL team, because the NFL team does not want to deal with the fact of the unnecessary publicity that you're going to bring on your starting quarterback. So unfortunately, Tim Tebow and the whole situation got screwed. Not only by the Jets, but everything else. Basically, he is a victim of his success. And that's a shame. Because at this point, I hope Tim Tebow does some good things. I hope he latches on with the NFL team. But honestly, let's be realistic about the situation. He never had a chance with the New York Jets, and he probably won't have a chance to start in the NFL. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think about this situation. Until next time, same Spider channel.